Welcome back to Jules FM and part 2 of my chat with Izzy Anstey. In part 1, we heard how Izzy's love of basketball evolved over time rather than just a childhood dream, and it became a full-blown career. One that took her from representing Australia at the Olympics to playing college basketball in the US. In this episode, Izzy opens up about what happens after the dream, how she learned to redefine success, handle pressure, and find purpose beyond performance. It's an honest, inspiring look at resilience, growth, and the lessons she learned from basketball beyond being on the court. With the physical preparation, we've heard about that crazy schedule. Did you also have to work on your mental side of things as well to stay kind of in the game and in the best shape and, play well?
Yeah, I think quite early I actually ended up seeing a sports psychologist of balancing, do I love it, do I want to do it, is the opportunity there, things like that. That was a big thing that I was really grateful to be kind of not pushed into, but it was very strongly suggested that I do it, and at the time you probably don't realise how important it is. Looking back, it was probably the most important part of it all. And then when I got to college, UCLA was incredible in mental training. That was as important as being on the court. So every morning after film, we'd have something, we'd call it the mind gym. That's what it's about. Yeah, so that was absolutely one of the biggest things, especially then later down the track when you get injured.
Yeah.
And you realise how important mental recovery is, mental workouts, things like that. It really did help.
What kind of things did you do in the mind gym?
There was lots. We'd have people come in and speak to us. We had a coach that helped us through that. A massive thing for us was visualization. So they were incredible, and learning things about your mind, kind of not knowing the difference between a rep that you're doing physically versus mentally. And I mean, we'd watch ourselves over and over and over again doing things right, and it enforced it, rather than you dwell on the things that you're told you do wrong 10 times more than you dwell on a compliment.
Absolutely.
So it was really enforcing the things that you do well and having that ground you in the times that obviously you're still going to need to improve, you're still doing things wrong, but having a grounding force in this is what you're doing right and you're going to watch it every single day.
Oh, I love that, because what we do know, exactly as you said, Izzy, that the things that go wrong we fixate on, and then that's what we're kind of looking for, whereas if you're looking for the right things, which I love that they made you watch that, then that's what you're going to be out there kind of expecting as well. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. What do you, in your opinion, what separates a good athlete from a great athlete then? Because you would have seen the spectrum of basketballers, but what was it that separated those of you that made it to the next level compared to those that didn't?
I think there's a difference. I mean, basketball's a team sport. There's a difference between being a good athlete and a good teammate.
Yep.
And I think those people that show up day in and day out, it comes back to them as well. So being a good teammate's like that top of the line thing that you can do regardless of if you're injured, healthy, sick, tired. You can be a good teammate and give to other people, and it always comes back in abundance. And I think that was probably the biggest thing of the success that you see in these people. When they're giving out so much more positivity as well, they're surrounded by support, and it really does help them get to that next level. Yeah. And I mean, there's always, the things that people always say, it's the commitment to doing it on the days you don't want to, and working out what works for you, having your support system around you. But at the end of the day, especially in relation to basketball, like being that person that shows up for others, it comes back to you every time. And I mean, basketball aside, I know that I was a great teammate. I was a great person to be around in my college community, and opportunities came from that. I was connected with people in real estate in the United States, everything like that, and it opens up doors for you, and you're the one that can run through them then.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely. Izzy, you've played as a Bruin for UCLA. You represented Australia in the Olympics, and you've achieved so many successes in your sport. But you've been quoted as saying the Under-19 World Cup Grand Final against the USA was your greatest athletic thrill. Is that still the highlight of your career? And why?
I did love that game. And you know what? We lost that game and I still love
Yep.
that game.
Wow.
But
Why? What was it?
it was just an incredible game of basketball, and emotions are high. And I mean, the assistant coach at that point for the Team USA was my head coach for the Bruins. And I mean, that's what sport is. It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And that game went into overtime and we lost. And so you're riding that adrenaline wave of it all. And I think that's exactly what sport is. And if you can't kind of appreciate those games that was a career highlight for me. And as much as I'm like, I played a great game, it wasn't about the game. It was about the atmosphere of the game, and it was really special.
Yeah. And I think you're spot on. It's never about winning or losing. It's about staying where your feet are, like you said, and it's about being in the moment, and then it doesn't matter what happens.
Exactly. And mum and dad both alike, but dad always, no one remembers what the scoreboard said. No, it's the feelings that come with it, and it's so true now.
Absolutely. How do you handle the pressure of performing at that level? Like all the attention, and do you ever receive negative feedback? And if so, like how are you dealing with that?
Of course. You receive negative feedback no matter what. You could be running at 100%. It's perfect, and there's still always somebody. But honestly, it's just about not caring. You need to care about the people whose opinions matter, and you need to get rid of the rest. And it's so much easier said than done. But when you really focus in on what's important to me, whose opinions are important to me, it just that's how you go through to it.
Yeah. So if you received it, would you just delete it, don't look at it, ignore it?
It's not something where you can just say don't look at it or shut it off, and because it's always there and you're always going to look at it no matter how many times you tell yourself not to open the negative comments on your Instagram or the commentary on that game or things like that. But it's the same thing. I go back to it all the time. It's the emotions and the feelings and the opportunity to play rather than what people thought about how you played.
So it was all about the why. You were there because you loved the game, not because you were trying to make people happy.
It wasn't even, I hate to say it wasn't the love of the game, but I was there because I wanted to be.
Yep.
Regardless of if I felt like shit, however I felt, I wanted to be there. It was helping me at the time. It was getting me to my next step of life. I was pouring everything I had into it. I didn't really care what other people thought.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect attitude. I think that's amazing. So when you did have a bad game or something didn't go right, how did you deal with the disappointment? Did you have any trouble with that, or were you able to move through it pretty quickly?
Of course I did, and I think I had a lot of frustration, especially towards the end of my career when my body wasn't doing what it used to be able to, when I started getting some pretty serious injuries, things like that. And I think it was more the frustration rather than anything of I obviously know how to do this and my body's not responding. I have a great support system around me, and it was calling back home, and it was talking to my teammates and my athletic trainer over in the States. Like, those were the people that I never did it by myself. That was one thing that there was always somebody to talk to about it.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. And that's obviously very important, I think, for everyone. They say, the longest living people are the ones that have a community, and obviously it applies in all sorts of situations.
Yeah, of course.
Did basketball teach you anything outside of the game about life?
Everything about life that I know some way or another has stemmed from my playing the game. And it's not even this big, super deep thing, but even in work now, you talk about not being able to do things on your own and reaching out when you need help and working collaboratively. And even the most simple things, I may have known to do them without the game, but the way in which I can articulate needing help, things like that, that all came and was started by playing a team sport and doing all of that. It was never, I never had a day that I didn't need help from somebody.
Yeah. And I think that's a really crucial life lesson, because I think if we all took that out and asked and were prepared to ask, and sometimes it makes people feel vulnerable, I think, and they're too afraid to ask, but that's where the beauty lies. And, you know, that collaboration, it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds weird, but I love the word no now.
Yeah,
and
right.
I ask so many questions and hard questions and everything. I love when people say no because it's a definitive answer.
Okay.
It's somebody can say yes and elaborate and get their tongue twisted and all of these things, but I love the answer no. So I will ask questions to get to that point.
Gotcha.
I need help here. What do I do in this? Or this is what I'm working on. Can you help me? Or things like that. And people, like, I love when people ask me for help.
Yeah.
That's, how can I add to your vision or your dream or things like that? And when you ask for help, it comes back and you give help. And it's just this circle of knowing that you don't have to do things alone.
And it sounds like that was the philosophy you had in the game as well.
Of course, I was always about being a team player and giving to the person next to you, because it'll come back. And when you're knocked on your ass, literally, they're helping you up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you could go back and talk to your younger self, the one just starting out, what would you say?
Just keep doing what you feel's right. It was never, as I said before, it was never my love of the game that kept me going. It was selfishly, what is making this decision going to do for me? And going to the States was one of the scariest things I've ever done, and making the decision to move across the world. And now looking back, there's not a single thing I'd trade for it. The hard days, the good days, everything in between. It's the person I am now is because I went and did that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like you already understand that it's not about winning or losing to be successful. But what does success look like for you now? Has that changed at all from when you first started?
I mean, it was never about, I guess, winning or losing. Success to me is, it sounds cliche, but waking up and being happy with what I'm doing. And I work in a job that's not 9 to 5 and you have to put in to get out, and waking up in the morning knowing that I got everything I needed to do done the night before is a successful day for me. If I wake up and said I should have done this, this and this, well, why didn't I do it? Yeah. Is it accountability? Is it needing to report into somebody else? Is it all those things? But success to me is being able to start the day fresh, knowing I did everything I could the day before.
And I think that kind of answers my next question, which was going to be, what are some of the high performance habits that you've taken with you? And clearly it's making sure you're ticking off your to-dos. Is there anything else?
My coach used to say that you don't need to have 100% to give 100% of what you have. And every single day is very different, and people are hit with all different types of things in life. But you could have 20% of your full capacity, and if you give 100% of that 20%, it was a successful day.
Yeah.
And only you're the only person that can really know if you were successful in a day.
Yeah, that's very true. Absolutely. Yeah. You measure your own success, don't you? And tell me, do you think greatness is built more from belief or from hard work, or both?
You need to believe in yourself, but unless you're willing to put in hard work, belief's only one thing. You can believe in yourself all you want, but if you believe and have goals and ambitions, unless you put into the hard work to get to that point, you need both.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have any aspirations to go back into the game in any capacity, like coaching or anything like that?
That's funny. Everybody asks me that. The short answer is no.
Yep.
was incredible and I wouldn't change it for the world. But I mean, I walk into basketball stadiums now and I'm there because of the people I get to see. It's not about putting on a uniform or anything like that. It's about kind of visiting what has been and is still so important to me, but it's not about playing or coaching. If my younger brother wanted me to coach him at some point, I probably would, but it's probably as far as I'd take it.
That's fair enough. So my final question that I ask everyone, if someone listening has a big dream and doesn't know where to start, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
It's a good question, Jules. One piece of advice I'd give them.
I mean, there has been so much wisdom in all of your answers so far. But yeah, is this something that comes to mind that you think, okay, they're about to start out in this journey? This is what I would suggest you do.
It's easy, I think, to follow a dream when you love what you're doing. And so I think that every day making sure that you're doing something that will work towards loving what you're doing is important. Because, I mean, people have hobbies that I used to do it at school. I'd never go to maths. I'd go and do my folio subjects because I loved doing art and things like that. You always prioritize things that make you happy. So finding happiness that helps you in pursuit of your goals, I think that is kind of what gets you there.
What I love about Izzy's story is that she never set out to be extraordinary. She just showed up for what she loved and then kept showing up. If you took something from Izzy's story about staying the course, trusting your own path, staying where your feet are, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're listening and thinking about your next big goal, maybe let this be your nudge to be bold, be brave, and to back yourself all the way. Thanks for listening. I'm Jules, and this is JulesFM. Don't forget to hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.